Welcome to Daily. I'm your host. Going to talk a little bit about waves today. Actually, I'm not. I'm talking about something else, but I wanted to discuss waves. There's two kinds. There's mechanical waves and there's electromagnetic waves. Mechanical waves are pretty much the waves that you think of. Sound waves are mechanical. It's anything that moves through essentially an elastic object. With sound, it's moving through air or water, all very specific types of matter. Those are the ones that you see when you tie a rope to the end of when you tie one end of a rope to a thing and then you shake the other end. What you're seeing are waves. Those are mechanical. It's force being transmitted through it. Then you have a different kind of wave, and that's the electromagnetic wave. That's what you get on an ECG, a heart rate monitor, an electrocardiogram. That's your pulse. And everyone has a pulse, except for vampires, and I don't even know that they're real. Could be. Good luck proving they're not, because proving negative does not work. That being said, I've always found that a pulse, meditators often will say that the thing that you always have with you, the reason that you focus on your breath, is because your breath is always there. You can hold your breath, though. You can't stop your heart rate. I'm not going to get into voluntary and involuntary muscle reactions and stuff like that, but I wanted to talk about the pulse. If you're ever in a quiet bathroom, taking a bath, and you dip your head underwater, a lot of times you hear it in your ears. That, right? So the Mayo Clinic says that the average heart rate is between 60 to 100 beats per minute. Pretty wide range, whatever. And you can count it. There's ways to do it. You can figure out how to take your own pulse. But pulse isn't just, like, the definition of pulse is, actually I'm guessing the definition of pulse is pretty generic. And it probably matches for everything. But the common vernacular and the way that it's used, so you can take somebody's pulse, that's their heart rate. And that is true and accurate. And you can control that through breathing, through relaxation methods, through super exciting stuff like mountain biking down a single track, hiking, rock climbing, seeing something new, seeing something old, going on a roller coaster. All of that kind of affects your heart rate, obviously. But I'm not talking about your individual heart rate. I don't know if you've ever noticed this. It happens in a good small gathering, whether that's camping, whether that's a house party, whether that's whatever. Everyone seems to be vibing. Everyone seems to be on the same page or on the same wavelength. There's that word again, waves, huh? That's because your pulse is affected by the things around you. And you become part of something bigger. That pulse becomes part of something bigger. The pulse of a group is not the same as the pulse of a person in the group. But it is a part of it. You know, it's not a smooth one. It's not smooth like the mechanical ones. It's sharp. You know, you ever see it on TV or in a hospital or wherever. It's a flat and then beep. It's sharp. It's spiky. And yet, those spikes have a tendency to kind of merge. They don't exactly merge all the time. Most of the time, I would guess. I'm not sure. I'm not backing this up on any science. I'm talking out my ass. And then the more people you add, the spikier and the noisier it gets. But there is still, if you pull back enough and you look at that visual representation of that pulse, of that wave, of that pulse, it's part of a whole, it's a bell curve. It becomes kind of a bell curve. That's actually what I was thinking of, curves or mechanical waves. A bell curve is a type, it looks very similar to a mechanical wave. And then the more people you add, the noisier it gets. And the more people you add, the noisier it gets. And you still can zoom out and you can see that. But you add enough people, and this is not related to Dunbar's number, who limits it at mostly 150. That's a different thing that I might talk about later. You start seeing all noise. You know, you lose the signal because of the noise. But here's the thing that I've realized is that the more you zoom out, the larger it looks, the more people who are around you. The signal is the noise. It goes from a bunch of people sitting around a campfire to a bit more. You can see it actually, if you ever watch videos of, say, like the Boston Marathon, that the marathon itself almost becomes its own entity with its own wave. And you keep expanding that out and adding more people. And when you find yourself in a city, a dense city, not a car-centric, urban sprawl bullshit city. When you find yourself in a city, a real city, it seems like if you were to look at a visual representation of it, it seems like it would be all noise. But that's the pulse of the city. And I'm experiencing that in a very different way today. It was not a good day. It was a day of travel. It was exhausting and annoying and whatever. But where I found myself winding up is in the spot being part of a pulse. So I'm not in a square. We don't have a lot of traffic, or we don't have hardly any traffic going around. So we don't have those internal combustion engines mucking everything up. What I have here is humanity. And the pulse of humanity, and the pulse of this block, of this neighborhood, of this city, of this world. Moon's about to come out from some clouds. This is my moment. And even though there's wind that slams doors, this is my moment. I'm gonna be with me. Find your gratitude, put it to words, spread those words, online and in person.